are some of the weirdest SpongeBob books that I ever read as a kid. Like, SpongeBob doesn't make gourmet, nor is a monster doppelganger tasting him. It makes me wonder why Yuppie was okay with reading these books, and why was I okay with buying them now? Anyway, let's start with this book called A Story About Getting Glasses, The Eye of the Fly Cook. Oh wait, I got that messed up. It's actually called The Eye of the Fly Cook, A Story About Getting Glasses. It's about SpongeBob wanting to attend a new fly cook academy, but he had business problems. So he went to the eye doctor to get prescription glasses. But SpongeBob being SpongeBob, he fears that his glasses will limit his chances of passing the trials. So he decided not to wear them, only for him to make this even worse in the progress. Fortunately, his set idol told SpongeBob that it's fine to wear glasses while cooking. He just needs to have the right accommodations for it. All in all, it's a neat story about why some people need glasses and how you can adapt with them to your liking. But after reading this book, I was baffled that SpongeBob wanted to attend Flycat Academy even though he only has a jar at the Krusty Krab! In fact, his jar was only mentioned once in this entire book, and even then, it doesn't even mention his name! This is the same part I had when SpongeBob attended bowling school while I had to wear on the same day. How is SpongeBob not supposed to know about this? And why is Mr. Krabs okay with SpongeBob waiting his white irons at school? I can't. And this isn't the only weird part of the book either. SpongeBob seems to have no problems making great dishes, but as far as I know, he can't do that in the base show. In Gourmet Swiss, all he can make in Gourmet Kitchen was Krabby Patties, and that's Bill I am. And in Swing Returns, he can't wear his hair while the concept by diet. What was causing to us, bro? Sure, later in the episode, SpongeBob did make excellent dishes, but that was after Swim retired to clear his mind. Basically what I'm saying is that SpongeBob made perfect great dishes is just odd to me. Firstly, this inconsistencies didn't disrupt people enjoying the Eye of the Fly Kid. You just have to worry your expectations on continuity, that's all. As if the show even cared for its continuity in the first place. Speaking of the show, this next bit is a play-by-play called Who's Hungry. It's part of the SpongeBob Salamander series, where 4 episodes get adapted into a manga. However, this book sees less of a manga and more of episode seasons with Speedballs on it. If I tell someone that there is an official SpongeBob manga, they would get hyped up, but still get disappointed once I show them this. Oh, come on! Where's the real SpongeBob manga? Just aside, the SpongeBob Salamander series is a decent alternative if you don't have anything late to watch the show. That is, if you're able to find them. For my book, it contains Welcome to the Tub Bucket, Penny Hype, Diet for Pie, and Crabs. Since these are big boy remakes, I don't have to tell you what each episode is about. Like that, we had to explain to y'all why Mr. Krabs nearly sacrifices a place to a dry crab? Of course you know why! But the bigger question is, why is this ground-not whole son not pressing this person? Was the son that good that it needs to be cut? Yeah, because you see, these Salamander series were impetus because stuck out, and this pet obvious installment is no exception. Another example is how Krabs ended. In the original, SpongeBob and Squidward quite are Mr. Krabs get eaten by a giant crab, but in the Salamander version, it was cut, and that's when a suspect could have gotten on the viewer.
That was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
However, they say that with every down, there's an up. And Percy for Hillside Glee, there are some tastes that make sentences funnier than the whistle. In Penny High, SpongeBob asks whose number is 46,853. In the whistle, the Tires Clauses yells, but I did the math that may have found out who's the lucky customer. They're right here. Finally, after 20 years, the mystery has been solved. In the Whistle Diaper Pie, after SpongeBob exploded, Squidward remarks on how he spent his last 5 hours with him. Then he asks me on with this.
I am such a good person.
Howard the man states the opposite, as in there, someone calls himself a bad person instead. Maybe he says we couldn't give his sponsor as boy party in the first place, or he says hate himself. It's probably the latter. And finally, my painting has been for clowns. For years, fans have been debating on what Cold Blue ever listed sponsor using that fake dollar. Some say the sponsor didn't say anything, while others say it was number 3, and some say it was number 5.
And kissed with coral blue number 2 semi-gloss lipstick.
Actually, it's coral blue number 2.
Well, what if I tell you that the bad version has the right answer? According to it was Cold Blue number 1 instead! Great! As if we need more confused about the listed number. Also, out all the ways you could use for Patrick agree with Sponge's idea in Pie High, why do you have to make this number field? Okay, I have enough of this. Let's move on to our last weird SpongeBob book, Spongezilla Attacks in 3D. Yep, this book has some cool effects when you wear 3D glasses. So let's get our glasses out of the... Oh yeah, I remember I bought a used copy, so the glasses are gone. But personally for us, we don't need those glasses to read this book. Spongezilla Attacks is about SpongeBob getting teased by a monster looking like after watching a scary movie marathon all day. As you can tell already, this story is basically the SpongeBob version of Godzilla, so it's been concealed acid throughout. However, in the end, Spongezilla turned out to be SpongeBob's nightmare after all. Get to see our pretending as a life for our kids to see, but not good for cartoons. Personally, I don't mind the re-ending, but what I do mind is the stereoification of it. SpongeBob made a giant Martian person of himself that destroyed the Keyboard and ate him! Does the Sponge suffer from low self-esteem? Because this isn't normal for a way healthy person. That or Sponge sets out a bit of imagination. It has to be one of those two. But other than that, Spongezilla Attacks is a cool bit that can be enjoyed even without the 3D effects. Wait, that bit isn't as weird as the first two so be all year stars? Yep, you got me. I wanted to add this video on again note. However, if you want some more weird SpongeBob videos, then why not watch my Blazing Side overview where SpongeBob reveals his star sign. And with that being said, I will see you stars in the sky tonight! What?